Okay, we're live.
Okay. I'll call the meeting of the McHenry County Zoning Board of Appeals to order. This is a petition for, it's number 2024-058, and the PIN number is part of 08-27-200-013. The address is 1905 Greenwood Road in Woodstock, and it is a request for an A1 agriculture to an A2 agriculture. I'll start with the board introductions, and we'll start at my left with Ms. Donner.
Mary Donner, Greenwood Township.
Robert Cozen, Algonquin Township.
Charlie Eldridge, Richmond Township.
Vicki Gartner, Nunda Township.
Kurt Schnabel, Riley Township.
Thank you. I'll get the business out of the way. The publisher's certificate of publication from a newspaper is dated October 18th, 2024, and thereby meets the ordinance requirements. The affidavit of posting was signed and date posted was October 18, 2024, and thereby meets the ordinance requirements. The affidavit of mailing was signed and date mailed was October 16, 2024, and thereby meets the ordinance requirements. Survey has been checked against the petition, legal notice, and the publication in the newspaper, and all three match. The filing fees have been paid. The endangered species consultation was not required for this petition. The McHenry County Soil and Water Conservation District report has been received. Okay, so if you're going to speak, which I'm assuming you will, please raise your right hand and I'll swear you in. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth in your testimony today?
I do.
Thank you. Okay, go ahead and start, Mr.
All right. So my name is Mark Saladin. I'm an attorney with Zancone Wright and Saladin in Crystal Lake on behalf of the petitioner. So we're going to jump right in, if you don't mind. Would you please state your name for the record?
Richard Forrester,
And what's your current address?
10610 Maple Tree Drive, Woodstock, Illinois.
And the subject of the petition is the ownership of the subject property, the 1905 Greenwood Trust.
It is.
And are you one of the trustees of that trust?
I am.
And is that a living trust for your family?
It is.
Okay. Is there another co-trustee with you
Yes,
on the trust?
on the trust.
Yeah,
Yes.
what's his name?
Christopher Walker.
Okay. Does anybody live on the subject property?
Yes.
And who would that be?
That'd be the renter, Rory
Okay.
Gonzalez.
And he's aware of today's proceedings?
He is.
Does he have an intent to purchase the property at some
He
point in
does.
time?
Yes.
Okay. And is the subject property a part of a larger parcel?
It is.
And is that larger parcel, how much acreage does it contain?
17 acres approximately.
And to your knowledge, would the division of this particular property be in conformance with the Illinois Plat Act?
It would. Yes.
And the property, what's the size of the subject property currently?
5.8 acres.
And do you know how much road frontage there is on Charles Road?
572 feet.
And how about on Greenwood Road?
447 feet.
And will the property in question still be accessed by the existing driveways that enter both Charles Road and Greenwood Road?
It will.
And could you tell us a little bit about the property, you know, what's currently on the property?
Yeah, there's a single-family residence with an attached garage. There's an outbuilding that's like 40 by 60, and then there's an old foundation for a barn and a grain bin.
And as far as the shed that's there, is that just for personal property?
Yeah, right.
Okay. And are there trees on the subject property?
There are.
Is the property currently serviced by a well and septic system?
It is, yes.
And to your knowledge, are there any problems or issues with the well or the septic system?
There are no problems at this time.
And do you understand that in the event that a septic system fails, that you would need a half acre of non-contiguous soil
Yes.
that would be available for a replacement system? And are you aware of what the surrounding zoning of property is in the area?
Yes,
And is it both zoned A1 with E2 to the north?
that is correct.
And is the property in the area used for ag purposes and rural residential homes?
It is.
And your request today is to rezone the subject property from A1 to A2, correct?
Correct.
And do you ratify and confirm the contents of the petition we filed?
I do, yes.
And now, Rick, I've got to ask you some questions relative to, whether or not we meet the standards for a rezoning map amendment. In your opinion, based on, the property that you're certainly familiar with, do you feel that the proposed amendment is compatible with the existing use and zoning of nearby property?
Yes,
And will the proposed amendment be detrimental to or endanger the health, safety, morals, or general welfare of the community?
no,
And is the request for A2 consistent with existing uses of the property in the area?
yes,
And is the request for A2 consistent with zoning classification of property within this area?
yes,
And is the request for A2 suitable for uses permitted under the existing agricultural classification?
yes,
In your opinion, will the values of property around the area be diminished in any way by this rezoning
No.
request? And the proposed amendment is consistent with the comprehensive plan designation of agriculture?
yes,
Is the property in question, strike that, and is it in the best interest of the public to try and put parcels back into conforming status?
yes,
And by that, I mean, this is part of a larger piece that's zoned A2, or I'm sorry, A1, and of course, an A1 parcel would require 40 acres to have one house on it. The A2 request would make it a conforming parcel, is that right?
yes,
And we've already discussed the Illinois Plat Act, we meet the exception for that, and I have no further questions.
Okay, do we have any questions from the board? Ms.
I have
Allen?
no questions.
Mr. Cozen?
I have no questions.
Mr.
No questions?
no questions.
I don't have any questions. Well, I do, I have one. How long have you owned the property?
Oh, man, it's been in the family since the late 80s, maybe
Okay.
early 90s.
All right, thank you. Okay, moving on. Does the staff have any questions?
No questions.
Okay. And there's no public, so there's no public questions. And can we move on now to the staff reports?
Certainly. As Mr. Salazar noted, the current zoning of the property is A1, requesting a portion of that to be A2. The zoning in the area is a mixture of A1 and estate classifications. There's an A2 a little ways down Charles Road there. The surrounding land uses are a combination of single-family residences and agricultural. And the future land use designation for this particular property is estate, to the south is agriculture. Staff has no concerns with the request to rezone this to A2.
Thank you. Any questions for Anna?
Any comments from Bull Valley or Woodstock?
No.
That concludes my question.
Thank you. Okay. Do you have a closing statement, Mr. Saladin?
We request your recommendation of approval.
Sure. You can continue if you like. There's only 5 of us. It's a short board.
No, thank
You
you.
want to go ahead?
I'm fine.
You're
Thank
sure?
you. I'm very
All
much
right.
sure.
We're making up Sunday.
All right, moving on. I'm going to close the hearing portion of the meeting, and we'll move into the voting portion of the meeting.
Madam Chairman, I move acceptance of the petition.
Second,
Thank you. And again, the petition is 2024-058. Comments, Mr. Eldridge?
Yes, preservation of existing country estates is consistent with the public policy of McHenry County. This is unusual, and unusually one A2 only in that this is a somewhat more residential area than is typical, and it is the intersection of a state highway and 2 county arterials, so it is being on an active corner like that. Typically, we are asked to have more intensive zoning than this when a request comes in for a site like this. I am very pleased always to have a less intensive zoning request rather than a more intensive zoning request where possible. I believe all the standards have been met. I believe that the Plat Act exception is applicable. I believe that the request is entirely appropriate, and I support the petition.
Thank you. Ms. Downer, any comments?
I support the petition.
Thank you, Mr. Cozen.
I believe too that the information as presented fulfills the approval standards for zoning amendment and will be supporting this petition.
Thank you, Mr. Schneider.
I will also support the petition.
Okay, and I also will, too. This is a perfect A1 to A2. It's not only fitting right into the whole plan, the future plan and whatever, it's also almost perfectly square, which is always nice.
Jefferson would be proud.
Almost very symmetrical here. Okay, so yes, I would approve as well. So I will call for the roll now. Mr. Eldridge?
Yes.
Mr. Cozen?
Yes.
Passes on. Okay. Ms. Donner?
Yes.
Mr. Schnabel?
Yes.
And I will vote yes. That is 5-0 in favor of your request. It will go to the county board next month. Or is it?
Yes.
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 Yes, next month.
It will go to the December.
And I'm assuming it'll be on the consent agenda.
Thank you very much. I appreciate your time.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So how did I do? Did I meet the record?
Yeah, we kind of, it is a record.
I don't think the mayor is officially adjourned yet.
Oh, meeting's adjourned.
Now, you know, it'll go to the December meeting.
Right.
The third